What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of TEW Confrontational. You already know my name is Ty Warkenthien, and this is my little brother, Evan Warkenthien there. And yeah, this is our second episode. I hope you liked the first episode. Yeah, we're going to start going after this and kind of make it a routine. Have a video every week, or try to at least, and do all that good stuff. So we're here with the second episode of TEW Confrontational, and we got some topics. Like I said, we're going to be more structured and yeah, a little bit more organized as far as topics, just so we're not rambling. So like everybody knows, we got Super Bowl 57 that happened this past weekend with the Chiefs winning and taking home the Super Bowl victory there. And then we also got some NBA topics here. We got the NBA All-Star break coming up this weekend, February 17th to the 19th. So that's always a fun time, and stuff like that. Also, Waste Management Open.
Big old party.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. And then what'd you say?
I said it was a big party. Waste Management, big beer drinking.
Yeah,
event.
for sure. I mean, and the purse was enormous. Yeah, it was a lot of money.
20 million?
Yeah, somewhere around there. We'll do a little bit deeper dive into that here in a little bit. But yeah, we got some interesting topics here for you. UFOs have been being shot down over the last couple of weeks, so we'll touch on that. And yeah, let's jump right into it. We'll start with the Super Bowl 57. Kansas City Chiefs 38, Philadelphia Eagles 35. What were your initial thoughts on the game? I know we kind of jumped into it. We were talking a little bit about our predictions and everything, but how did your predictions kind of pan out to how the result of the game went?
So I believe I said 31-24 Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Obviously didn't turn out. 38-35 was the final on Sunday night. I would probably say the first half was kind of slow.
Yeah, there was some, like the first quarter, I think there was only a total of 14 points scored, so it started off kind of slow.
And it did look like the Chiefs were going to kind of jump ahead. When they're 14-7.
Well, no, because the way it went is Philadelphia, first possession, go down and score right away.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, well, first it was the running back, I believe, but they called him short down at like the inch yard, and then they ran the quarterback sneak that works.
How many quarterback sneaks did they run? How many quarterback sneaks did they run?
Right, but how many times did it work?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it worked almost every time. So, yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, it was a lot higher scoring game than I thought it was going to be. I mean, obviously you have the top two offenses in the NFL. With Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes leading the way for both teams, and it was a battle of the quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts runs for 3 touchdowns, throws 1. Patrick Mahomes throws 3 touchdowns. So very high scoring. I predicted 24-21 was my prediction.
So, yeah.
And so the spread was there. It was a 3-point spread, so I knew it was going to be that. But I honestly thought it was going to come down to the defense, but it came down to whoever had the ball last, and points are being scored left and right. So it was a fun, entertaining game to watch.
It was, yeah. I do think that Jalen Hurts played great.
Yeah, we got some stats here. So 27 for 38 for 304 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown with a QBR rating of 103. So solid performance. That was really all the Eagles had. They didn't. The run defense or the run offense, the run game was non-existent, really.
Yeah. Yep.
Besides Jalen Hurts,
yeah.
Exactly.
15 carries, 70 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is they needed that out of him.
Right. And I think that's a record. Most rushing yards and touchdowns by a quarterback in a Super Bowl game. But that also ties the overall rushing touchdowns in a game by any player. He tied Terrell Davis, former Denver Broncos, a 25-year-old record. Terrell Davis also had 3 touchdowns and 157 yards against the Packers in 1997 in the Super Bowl. And funny enough, just ties everything back together. Andy Reid was the Packers assistant coach back then in 1997 when they lost the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, interesting stuff. So a lot of records being broke last night. I think there was a total of 6 overall records that were broke last night. Jalen Hurts, obviously, with the touchdowns. Travis Kelce, shout out Killer Trav, broke Rob Gronkowski for most all-time postseason touchdowns caught by a tight end. Travis Kelce's at 16 now, past Rob Gronkowski, who has 15. And that puts him second on the all-time touchdown by any pass-catching target. He's at 16. Travis Kelce is behind the legend Jerry Rice at 22.
Jerry Rice.
So just chasing legends and greatness. So, yeah, I mean, and he's not done yet. He's still got a lot of time left, I believe. I bet you 4 or 5 more years with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you think this is the next kind of dynasty like the Patriots were?
Yeah, I do, and they already not cemented themselves in it, but I mean, 3 Super Bowls. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has 2, still very young. Travis Kelce 2, so decently young, and I do think Travis Kelce is in his prime, and I think that Patrick Mahomes is in his prime as well. Without that injury, the high ankle sprain, I think that when he had that 35-yard run, didn't look hurt at all.
Right, and yeah, he didn't.
But I think it would have helped him being 100%. But he still played well.
Yeah. Stats for Patrick Mahomes: 21 for 27 for 182 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and then a total QBR of 131.8. So damn near perfect game. Ran 6 times, had 6 carries for 44 yards. His longest was a 26-yarder, so I think that's the one you're talking. When you're talking about. But yeah, he didn't look bad at all last night. There was a little scary moment where towards the end of the first half, he got rolled up on and twisted a little bit more and kind of limped off. Hopped off the field there. But yeah, went into the locker room and during halftime and made some big adjustments because they were down 10 going into halftime. And so yeah, they made their adjustments that needed to be made and yeah, came out on top. So shout out Chiefs Kingdom, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the whole team, the whole coaching staff. That was a fun game to watch, very entertaining. Total combined score of 78 points, and I think that's the 3rd highest in Super Bowl history. So nuts. Yeah, so great game. Both teams competed. Just came down to a couple key plays that really changed the momentum and kind of the picture of the game. When Jalen Hurts had that strip sack, where he got strip sacked, and then Nick Bolden, dog, by the way, had nine tackles that game and a fumble recovery for a touchdown, a 36-yard fumble recovery on that strip sack, which I feel like totally switched the momentum towards the Chiefs because that was just a huge play in the first half. And then he actually had a second one returned, a fumble return. That little bubble pass out to Miles Sanders in the flat. Got hit, and it was a bang bang. He caught it for sure. He just didn't make that extra football move to
it was
counted
very,
as
very tight.
Catch. It was a bang bang play, but yeah, shout out Nick Bolden, dog. He had some great plays. He was all over the field. Like I said, he had nine total tackles. The fumble recovery for a touchdown. 8 of those 9 tackles were solo. So yeah, he's just all over the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Patrick Mahomes here, first player since Kurt Warner in 1999 to win the regular season MVP and then to go on to win the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. So hell of a season for Patrick Mahomes, and he just goes out every game, every season, and proves that he is the best quarterback in the NFL currently. And hopefully, all he's doing is chasing legends, and hopefully he's going to be going down as the best to ever do it. He's on pace to do it. So, good for him.
I don't think you could have picked two better teams, more deserving teams to be in the Super Bowl. Both teams, played well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Had phenomenal seasons.
Great.
I think they went, 14-3? Their
16,
records were?
16-3.
Well,
both
playoffs,
both were tied 16-3. Everything was identical on both teams. Like they showed us that before the game started. Everything was identical, the exact same right down the line. So it was, well deserved for both teams, and couldn't be more happier for the Chiefs and the outcome for all the fans for the Chiefs. I could care less about the Eagles fans, but no, I'm just playing. Going back to that regular season MVP to go on to win a Super Bowl, only 11 total players have ever done that. Bart Starr was one of them. He was back in 1966. Terry Bradshaw for the Steelers. Lawrence Taylor, Joe Montana, Emmitt Smith, Steve Young, Brett Favre. And then we touched on Terrell Davis, Kurt Warner back in 1999, and then Patrick Mahomes. Only 11 players to ever win regular season MVP and go on to win the Super Bowl. So that's a pretty cool stat there. Travis Kelce balled out that game too.
Dog.
Always shows up when he needs, when the game's on the line, money's on the line, everything. So 6 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. We already kind of touched on him passing Rob Gronkowski, sitting behind Jerry Rice. And I saw a post game press conference with Travis Kelce, and it was emotional for him, man. I know he's already won one, but the second one he just said hits way different
playing against your brother.
Yeah,
your family there.
It's just emotional. He's just a great individual, humble dude, has an enormous heart, and just a big role model for anybody that's looking for somebody to look up to. You can't say really anything bad about the guy, and just love the season that he had and the result that it turned out to be. So what an accomplishment there. And on the flip side, Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
How do you think he's feeling?
Probably not good. But honestly, he's probably happy for his brother, as being a sibling, you would be. But on the other hand, you also want to win. He's got that competitive fire in his belly, and he wants to take that Super Bowl home with him. So but I guarantee he's happy for his brother, and he's probably just glad to have that experience. First time ever, like I mentioned in our first podcast, that they're two brothers playing against each other in a Super Bowl. That's pretty special to go down in history like that. I also want to kind of touch on, it was the first ever Super Bowl where you had two African American quarterbacks playing against each other in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, that was a big accomplishment. And then
Super Bowl is big.
Yeah, also the flyover after the national anthem, the all women flyover in the fighter jets.
Yep.
That was the first all women flyover, so that was cool too. The thing that gets me is how do they time that to where right as the national anthem finishes, they're flying, and they're 30,000 feet in there. I don't even know how, probably 20,000 feet in the air, traveling 400, 500,
too high for me,
600 miles an hour. Like, how do they time it to right as they're coming across? They're like, who sent Chris Stapleton?
Mm-hmm.
They probably
Chris Stapleton sang the national anthem.
The flight people, the pilots, were like, "Hey, Chris, you got to hurry up. We're flying right over here,
there, buddy. Speed it up."
Yeah, we're flying over right about now.
Yeah.
And so, but no, fun. That was a fun Super Bowl. You got Rihanna halftime show.
I thought that was phenomenal.
Fucking, you can't go wrong with Rihanna. Bangers. After bangers,
everyone that I heard
after
was like,
bangers,
wow, this is a banger. Yeah,
after bangers. She has so many songs, so many features. So yeah, we had the Super Bowl party at Evan's house on Sunday, and yeah, my mom and Craig were there, and they knew every song too. And so yeah. she's a fan favorite. It was just a great halftime performance. Probably won't go down as being one of the best, just because it was just her, and it wasn't like last year they had Eminem, they had Jay-Z, they had
a bunch of different artists.
Yeah, they had Dr. Dre, they had Snoop Dogg, they had just had a bunch of people, and so that is just awesome. But yeah, do you have any favorite halftime performances or like your all-time that you've seen or heard about?
I'm more about the game. I mean, I like to see a good halftime show, but I'm always looking forward to the second half. I'm not really huge into the halftime, but yeah, I like to see it. Some good performances. So
right, and yeah, I mean, Katy Perry was one. Lady Gaga was another good one. The Weeknd, that was fun. There was one with Maroon 5. Was Maroon 5?
Maroon 5's good, yeah. I like that
so
too.
there's been some famous. It's always a big thing. Is the halftime performance, but not only the halftime performance with Rihanna, but Rob Gronkowski kicked a field goal for $10 million to be donated, sure. And I don't know. Was it televised?
I did not see it. Craig said he saw it.
Yeah,
I did not see it.
But
I know that they were streaming it on some type of platform.
Yeah, it was some undisclosed location, like outside of the Super Bowl facility and stuff like that.
Right?
Yeah, wide left. He booted that thing though. He booted that thing. Like,
it's got a lot of power behind that foot. So.
If it would have went straight up, he probably could have made it from 40 or 50. Mm-hmm. That thing was sailing. But yeah, wide left. But shout out Rob Gronkowski for providing all that entertainment to millions of people. Everyone probably loves seeing Rob Gronkowski out there showing off the boot. Yeah. So shout out them, and I'm sure that that money still got donated.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I mean,
they just wanted to add a little bit of entertainment and excitement.
I'm sure not all 10 million, but I bet you there was still some of that money that did get donated. But yeah, overall thoughts on the game. I mean,
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
great football.
Yeah, we had.
Do you want to touch on that defensive holding?
Yeah,
at the end of the game, they gave him.
It was definitely.
I mean, it's the right call. My only issue was they didn't call it because that happened multiple times. I mean, obviously, we didn't see everything. We weren't watching every single route that happened, but yeah, it definitely happened. And then they have to call it at that like crucial part of the game. You just don't call those, and especially that big of game.
Right. It was a big call,
but it was a correct. It was a correct call. I mean, he did. Yeah, based on the rules or off the rules, that's the correct call.
Yeah, he came out after the game on Twitter and said, that was a holding.
The player, he said it was holding.
James Bradbury, came out and said, I did hold him. It was the correct call. Just a bummer. You never want to see a game end that way. I for sure thought that the Eagles were going to get the ball back after, so the Chiefs got it with like 5 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe they'll go down, kick a field goal or score. Give it back to Philly, which they ended up doing eventually, but they only had 11 seconds left. And
not much time.
At the end of the game, I was watching kind of a press conference, post-game press conference of Jalen Hurts, and he said that at the very end, you know how he's going to throw a Hail Mary?
Did he slip out of his hand, get tipped?
He said he stepped on the back of, he thinks, Jason Kelsey's foot.
Yeah.
And so he didn't get enough oomph behind it, and that's what he was saying. So
yeah, it definitely was way underthrown, whether it slipped, stepped on somebody's foot.
You hate to see the game end that way. It's unfortunate, but I think the better team probably won that game.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes just stellar in the second half. Threw one incompletion the whole entire second half. 13 for 14, and that one incompletion was a throwaway on purpose. Yeah. So technically, his adjusted percentage was 100% in the second half for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, just great football team, great coaching. Those 2 times. So Kadarius Toney, shout out Kadarius Toney, coming from the New York Giants.
That great kick return.
Great punt return. Yeah, that's also a record. 65 yards, longest punt return in Super Bowl history. Put him down to the 4.
That gave him a lot of momentum too.
Yeah, put him down to the 4. And then they ran this play twice. It was where Sky Moore scored on it once, and then Kadarius Toney. Yeah,
he says how he turns around,
runs that bubble screen back out. They scored on it twice.
Wide open.
And then Doug Peterson.
Shout out Sky Moore.
Yeah, Sky Moore, shout out Kadarius Toney. But Jacksonville Jaguars ran that same exact play against them. And Doug Peterson, the coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, is good friends with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And said, hey, run this play where they cheat on their motions, cheat on switching. So you can see there's nobody within 10 yards of the person who caught
So
that's just all coaching. That's all scheme right there. Yep. So shout out Andy Reid and being, gonna probably go down as a Hall of Fame coach right along with Bill Belichick.
Yep.
And hopefully this dynasty continues to grow, and we get to see more Super Bowl championships from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that'd be.
I think that's gonna happen.
I think that'd be fun.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Just gotta wait until August. Preseason starts. It's a long time without any football. But
yep,
it is what it is.
Speaking of another record that was broke. This is the second time. That a pair of rookies scored touchdowns on the same team. So Isaiah Pacheco, dog, he had a hell of a game. Can't remember his stats. I don't have him off the top of my head, but it was like 58 yards, I think, 10 times for 58 yards or something like that, and a touchdown. Either way,
he's a baller.
Yeah, the second half of the season, I think that's kind of the reason they were actually able to establish a run game, which they hadn't been able to do the first half of this season. And then that Jerick McKinnon, he's been playing well. He's always been a playoff player. He's always shows out in the playoffs. So shout out the whole Kansas City Chiefs. I love that.
Yeah.
Bummed for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I mean, you think they're gonna be back next year, or like in the next couple of years? Like,
I don't know.
They're not getting rid of Jalen Hurts. They're not getting rid of AJ Brown. Probably either Devontae Smith. You think they'll keep Miles Sanders, or are they going to move on from Miles Sanders and go with like Boston Scott or Kenneth Gainwell?
Well, I mean, because they also draft a running back.
Yeah, right. But Miles Sanders, he fumbled on like the first drive and was taken out, and Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott got like more touches.
Or you try to get a different running back from a different team, or go with a younger running back.
Yeah, because they didn't do anything on the ground. Like I said, it was non-existent. 115 total yards, averaged 3.1 yards per carry. So not very good on the ground at all. Pass blocking though, just a positive on the Eagles O-line here. All 5 of the starting linemen finished the game with an above rating of 74. So they finished with a rating above 74, all 5 starters. And only 3 total pressures all game on 42 pass blocking snaps. So Jalen Hurts was only
pretty impressive.
Only pressured 3 times, but 2 of them were sacks, and one of them was that strip sack for that turnover. So didn't give up a whole lot, but when it did, it was catastrophic. So you hate to see that. And you said there's going to be at least 1 or 2 big turnovers, and
changes the outcome of the game, or switches the momentum.
There was at least for sure. Yeah, there at least for sure was that one return for a touchdown,
and almost that second one that would have been huge too.
Right, but that plays that actually stood, that fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then I think that Kadarius Toney punt return, that 60 right down to the 4-yard line, and they scored on the next play. Those two, I think those two plays really were the game changing plays that really made capped the game.
For sure.
But Chiefs 38, Eagles 35. Great Super Bowl, fun to watch, very entertaining. I didn't pay too much attention to the commercials.
I didn't either, really.
Yeah, so we couldn't give you any information on that. I apologize.
Nope.
But so moving on here, we can touch on NBA, PGA. Let's touch on PGA here quick. Let's just hop back to Phoenix while we're down there for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Phoenix, Arizona, also hosted the Waste Management Classic this past weekend, and a lot of great players out there. $20 million was the total prize purse. Just ridiculous amount of money for a golf tournament. But that's and these live the LIV players are making 400 million, 300 million. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, Scotty Scheffler, shout out Scotty Scheffler, finished the final round with a 6 under, and then finished the tournament with a 19 under to take the Waste Management Open, and that is his second year in a row. So he won it last year, back in 2022, and then won it this year. So yeah, hell yeah, shout out Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, he's played and he's joined the PGA back in 2020. That was only 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
He's already made $26,292,383 in official money earnings. He's played in 94 events. He has 5 tour wins. He's made 75 out of 94 cuts, which is impressive.
That is impressive.
Just that stat alone. 5 runner-ups, 5 third places, and 30 top 10 finishes, all in a matter of 3 years. So his 5 wins were obviously Waste Management, Phoenix last year, Arnold Palmer Invitational last year, Masters last year, World Golf Championships last year, and then Waste Management Phoenix Open this year. So $27 million in earnings. I wish I was that good at golf.
Oh yeah,
you can make that into a career. Yeah, we love golf.
Great weekend for Arizona though.
Yeah, there was a lot of media down there for covering everything last 2 weeks. So yeah, and I thought the Super Bowl, I thought it went phenomenally well.
I did
there
too.
wasn't any,
we talked about. We had Radio Row, all the big podcasts down there doing all the media stuff, and
yeah,
just a huge weekend for Arizona and their economy.
Yep, I saw
helping out the restaurants. Everybody's going out to eat, having drinks. So great for that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna bring a ton of money anywhere. Like if you have the Super Bowl and a PGA.
Yeah, but I think I saw Drake performed. I don't know if it was just like a small event, but still.
Yeah, did you see do you watch Sunday Conversation with Caleb? Did you see that new Drake one?
I haven't seen that one yet. No.
Okay, it just came out today.
I'm about to watch that right after this podcast.
Hilarious. Adonis, his son, is on it. So he makes an appearance on Sunday Conversation, and then Drake. It's funny.
Actually, I may have seen it. It's kind of short too.
No, this one's 11 minutes, so you might have seen like just a clip of it. But but no, it's a must watch. That one was classic. That one got me going. I like those Sunday Conversations. Yep. So shout out Barstool. We got the NBA All-Star break from Friday, February 17th to Sunday, February 19th. That's always a fun little weekend type deal. Nice break for the players that play 82 games in a season. So always nice for them to get a little break, but it's also a pretty entertaining weekend. I know you're a huge fan of the slam dunk contest.
Yep.
That's always fun to watch, and I love the 3-point contest.
I like 3-point contest, skills challenge.
Yep, skills challenge. All those games are super fun. They're doing things a little bit differently this year, like I said earlier, with the NBA All-Star Weekend. First event on Friday is the Jordan Rising Stars game. That's not new. That's always been an event during the NBA All-Star Weekend. But I think they're doing a little bit different structure.
Yep.
So they're gonna have it's a 3-game mini tournament. And the players that are involved in the Rising Stars are obviously NBA rookies, NBA sophomores, so second year, and then NBA G League players.
Yep.
And so the 3-game mini tournament, they play to a set amount of points. So first 2 games, so each team will play each other. First 2 games will be played to a total score of 40 points.
Which will go pretty quick, I imagine.
I would think so, just with the talent. And then the final game will be a total final target score of 25 to determine the tournament champion. So pretty cool. And then another cool thing that they are doing here is they're having coaches for these 4 teams. So there's 4 teams. There's 4 coaches, obviously, and they're all past All-Stars.
Yep.
And so you have
and great players.
Great players. Yeah, All-Stars, great players. You have Pau Gasol, played for the Lakers. He's in an NBA final a couple times. Darren Williams, Joakim Noah, and then Jason Terry, headband Terry. Yeah. And then obviously we have the rookies, the sophomores, and the G League players that are going to be playing in this game in Team Pau. So we'll go over Team Pau's team here quick. We got Paulo Banchero from Duke, Benedict Mathurin, Jaden Ivey, Scotty Barnes, Jose Alvarado, Keegan Murray. So stacked team. Darren Williams has Franz Wagner, Jalen Green, Alpern Segun, Trey Murphy III, AJ Griffin, Bones Highland, which I think he just got waived from the Nuggets. But yeah, Walker Kessler. That wraps up Team Darren. You got Team Joakim Noah. Yeah, you got Evan Mobley from the Cavs, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Jeremy Shohan, Quentin Grimes, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Duren. So a bunch of stacked teams. And then a new addition here. I kind of like that they're tying in the G League with the All-Star weekend. So there's actually going to be a team dedicated to just G League players who will be coached by Jason Terry, 2008-2009 NBA Sixth Man of the Year, and then also 2011 NBA champion Jason Terry, current Utah Jazz assistant coach and former coach of the NBA G League Grand Rapids Gold. So he's had some time down in the G League, so being a coach and everything. But yeah, he has Scoot Henderson, which is a top prospect in the upcoming draft in 2003. Mac McClung. So yeah,
jump out of the gym.
Right. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. You got Moab King, Kenneth Lofton Jr. You got a bunch of studs in the G League too. That are going to be playing in this Rising Stars. So that's always fun. I like how they're doing the coaches and everything, and kind of a different format.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Little 3-game mini tournament, which is kind of fun and everything. So that's the first. It's the first night, first main event of the NBA All-Star break is that Jordan Rising Stars game. So that'll be fun to watch.
That is on Friday night, correct?
Yep, Friday night. I think at 8 p.m. So don't
forget to tune in.
Right. Then what do we got going on Saturday, Evan?
I got the State Farm All-Star Saturday night game. All-Star. So it looks like there's some contests here. You got the Kia Skills Challenge. You got the 3-point contest. And those individuals are going to be Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Dame Lillard, and Fernay Simmons, and Laurie Markkanen.
Yeah. Yep. So the Kia Skills Challenge, that's the first event. That one's kind of like that obstacle course that they run through. Usually, typically, the point guards are the most skilled. I wouldn't say just point guards, but it's basically just a contest where they test your dribbling abilities, your passing abilities, finishing abilities, shooting abilities. Like it's just an overall test.
Yeah, it's like a little
obstacle course, right? And then you have to finish each event to go on to the next, and whoever finishes it in the less amount of time moves on and wins.
That's always fun to watch.
Yeah, just great talent. And then you named some of the 3-point contest people. You got Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers, Buddy Hield, Pacers, Damian Lillard, Dame Time from the Blazers, Anthony Simons from the Blazers,
Lillard.
And then Laurie Markkanen from the Jazz. And then there are 3 more players that have yet to be announced, but all great 3-point shooters.
I think Steph will step in and put his name in there.
Who knows? I think he's won it before. I don't know if he'll enter it. It doesn't seem fair if you have Steph Curry in the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
Just absolute demon when it comes to 3-point shooting. But no, yeah, I'm excited to see who the other 3 players are yet to be announced. To see who they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. And then of course I think this is the fan favorite, the slam dunk contest. You got four participants in there as of right now. You got Trey Murphy III from New Orleans. You got Kenyon Martin Jr. from the Rockets, and then you have Mac McClung from the G League.
Yeah, I'm hoping he takes the cake, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough. But
yeah,
I know he's gonna have a lot of tricks up his sleeves. As far as what type of dunks he does, because I've seen him do a lot of different styles and different types. So it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna witness that and see all that good stuff. But and then also Shaden Sharp from the Trailblazers. was a participant, but he withdrew from the contest. He's gonna focus on the rest of the season. So replacing him. So instead, we got the New York Knicks center Jericho Sims. Will be taking his spot as the fourth name in the NBA slam dunk contest. So a lot of young talent. A lot of these guys are really young. Trey Murphy, I think this is second or third year.
Chance to go out there and have some fun and kind of put their name on the map as far as 3-point shooting and a dunk contest.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for those three events, and then on Sunday, this is where the All-Star game happens, and then also the first event on Sunday is the NBA G League Next Up game, which is new. I believe it's pretty cool. You got a bunch of the G League players. You got Captain Luka Garza,
former Hawkeye.
Yeah, former Hawkeye. Drafted by the Timberwolves, now playing in the G League for the Iowa Wolves. Yeah, he's been dominated in the G League. And same on the other side. The other captain for the other team is Scoot Henderson. Like I said, he's a top prospect in the 2023 draft. Another great talent that's just absolutely running through the G League down there. And so I'm excited to see him come into the league, and I'm excited to watch him play, be a part of the All-Star weekend.
Yeah,
so we get to see, we don't get to see a whole lot of G League games televised. So it's gonna be kind of fun to see some of the talent down in the G League. I know we have the Sky Force here in Sioux Falls, associated with the Miami Heat. So we get to see some of the players. I mean, not really any huge names, but
that played or had a stint with the Sky Force that went on to play for the league, or were in the league and then came back down to the G League. But
yeah, so that's the G League Next Up game. That's the first event. I think that's at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Sunday. And then here's that big change that I was talking about, how they're going to be doing things a little differently. They're actually going to have the NBA All-Star draft right before the game. Yeah. So we don't even know who's playing in the NBA All-Star game.
Exactly. So it's going to add some hype to the prior to the game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty fun. And I mean, so like we don't even know who the captains are yet. I'm assuming it's going to be LeBron for one of the teams, and then maybe Giannis or KD
Luka.
or Luka Doncic. Yeah, there's
maybe Jason Tatum. Who knows?
Right, a bunch of different players out there that could definitely be a captain. But yeah, if you were captain, who would your first 5 picks, or who would you want as your starting lineup if you were
starting lineup? Well, I mean, for sure. Are we going position or just my favorite players? Are they going to draft by position, or are they going to draft the best players, the ball handlers, the shooters, they have all three of those skills?
They'll probably just draft
whoever they want.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be going, I need a point guard.
If Giannis is not a captain, LeBron is, or vice versa.
Don't even just say you're Evan Warkenthien and you're the captain. Who are the first 5 you're picking?
I'm taking LeBron for sure. I'm taking Giannis. I'm taking Luka. I'm taking Jason Tatum. And then, I don't know, Steph maybe.
Kyrie.
No, I'm not taking Kyrie, I don't think.
You don't like Kyrie?
I like Kyrie, but I'm not going to take him. Maybe Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Buckets. You got Kawhi. You got Paul George.
Or how about
DeMar DeRozan?
I'm a big fan of Tyler Hero.
Yeah, Tyler Hero. Have him out there in your All-Star game. Yeah, that'd be.
There's so many good players in the NBA right now.
Right.
It's just hard to pick, and both starting lineups, both teams are going to be stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
I'm definitely going to watch that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a high-scoring affair. Most of the time, those games end up like 158 to 163, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, and I know that prior years they go by like whoever wins the first quarter, whoever wins the second quarter. It's like 2-2 or 3-1. I think that's how they kind of played it last year, if I remember.
Yeah, they did something kind of goofy last year. I'm not sure how the game's going to be formatted this year, but I hope it's just team with the most points wins.
Yeah.
At the end of the game. That's how I like it, traditional, but pretty cool stuff going down this weekend if you're into the NBA. But yeah, going back to the draft, if LeBron is a captain, which we assume he will be, does that kind of correlate into maybe what he's going to be doing after his NBA career?
Future?
Yeah, like we all see it. He's a great leader. Loves to bring the best out of everyone around him.
Yeah.
definitely already is a coach, a GM, and owner. You can see it in his role right now. You definitely know that no decisions are made in LA without going through LeBron.
Yeah, I think
or at least letting him know what's going on.
He's going to have the opportunity to kind of do anything he really wants to. I'm guessing he's going to have the opportunity to maybe be coach, a GM, maybe a NBA analyst. Who knows what route he goes, but I think that he'll succeed in whichever route he decides to go.
A lot of the greats, not even in just the NBA, with like Shaq and Charles Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith, like the TNT team.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to see LeBron kind of maybe not fully on with those guys, but I mean popping in here and there.
Yeah, but not just like NBA. Like look at all the NFL greats that are. Tom Brady just signed a $375 million contract with Fox.
Making more money in that just signing. He hasn't even. It's $375 million. You said.
Yeah.
That's more money. That's more money than he made in his entire
NFL career.
NFL,
so definitely a lot of money to be made in analytics or being in analysis. Sure. So who knows what LeBron does? Michael Jordan, he owns the Charlotte Hornets, so he might buy into a team, or I know there's a couple legends that are owning teams or have a part in the ownership of a team. I'm not sure if Bill Russell does or not with the Celtics, or
I'm not sure. I think Aaron Rodgers has part ownership in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Maybe, but
I believe that is correct.
But yeah, there's just we'll see what happens. After his season, but for now he's still balling out at 38 years old.
2 exciting weekends back to back, I should say. So you got the Super Bowl,
and the All-Star break.
Yep. And then this past weekend on Saturday night, UFC. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. That was a great fight.
I didn't get a tune in and watch it. Did they start late this week too?
No, regular
or was
time.
That just last week?
Regular time. So I believe the early prelim started at 5.
Yeah.
And then the main card started at 9.
Nice. How'd the fight turn out? I saw a little bit of.
I think a lot of people knew that when going into the fight, Islam was going to try to wrestle a lot. Which he did. He had control for, I think, majority of the fight, and I think the last 2 minutes, I think Volkanovski kind of took it to him. I think the biggest thing was a unanimous decision. I think one of the judges had the score like 49-46, and that's just outrageous because
29-28, 29-28.
Yep. No, but I've kind of slowly gotten into have a few of my buddies that love UFC, so I've kind of been slowly getting into that and kind of. It's fun. It's great competition, which I love watching, and you just kind of get to watch some guys beat the shit out of each other. So
yeah, no, we touched on Sugar Sean last week. We touched on a little bit of Conor McGregor, but do they have I know we talked a little bit off camera, but did they have a fight scheduled or anything, like Conor McGregor and the new coaches of the Ultimate Fighter? So Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler are the new coaches, and so we were talking off the camera here about they're supposed to fight after. I'm not sure if
they are going to fight. They haven't came out with a set date or a location for the fight, but after the Ultimate Fighter Championship, they will face one another, and I believe it's the end of Ultimate Fighter is going to be either August or September, so I'm guessing they'll fight around that time frame.
Yeah, more than likely.
And I am excited. Conor hasn't fought in over a year after his leg injury, so I'm excited to see him get back to the octagon, and I love watching Michael Chandler, so it's gonna be a great fight. I think they'll add some fights prior to that are gonna be good fights as well.
Yeah,
good competition.
Yeah, we'll get into more UFC. I usually just watch like the big fights.
Yeah.
But I know your roommate's Logan Dunnigan. He's a huge UFC guy and tunes in almost every weekend. So it might be kind of cool to have him on the podcast and get some more UFC insight.
He's got a lot of knowledge on that,
right?
That topic or sport,
right? And I mean, we have a little bit, but not near as much as Logan Dunnigan has on the UFC and in the fight world.
Yeah.
Is that Islam? So you're saying is that the one where Nelk went to Russia?
Yep.
And
so recently Nelk went to Russia. Shout out the Nelk boys. But yeah, they recently went to Russia and they trained with him.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that vlog or the video that they posted, and that looked. They're saying that's the healthiest weekend they've ever had in the past like 5 years.
They went to Dagestan.
Yeah, yeah, and then saw Azbula,
Hezbollah, yeah.
Azbula. And so I think
Great
yeah,
video. I think they're trying to not to get off topic of UFC and all that, but no, I think they're trying to go more towards those type of videos, just going to different countries and meeting all the celebrities in certain countries and
hmm
kind of putting them in that spotlight on
well, it's interesting because yeah,
full
it's just
send.
a totally different perspective. Like us here,
And how they live in
yeah,
their environment.
yeah. So yeah, definitely just a different take on culture, and it's just fun to see. They just have a hell of a time,
They
like
do, yeah.
shitting around, goofing around, and doing all that stuff. So, but yeah, so we'll get into more about UFC and everything. So we touched on NFL, NBA. So we got the Super Bowl out of the way. Chiefs 38-35. We touched on a bunch of records, topics, players, just the key highlights of that game. We touched on the NBA All-Star break coming up this weekend with all of the contests and games and new features that will be added to the All-Star break there. And then PGA, we touched on the Waste Management Classic that happened this past weekend in Arizona, with Scotty Scheffler taking home the bag there. Yeah, random other topics you wanna touch on here?
We can kind of go quickly over that. Go over the UFOs
Yeah, so
or those spy balloons, those Chinese spy balloons that have been seen
right,
around,
right. So the last
shot down.
so this all first started on January 28th when the supposed Chinese spy balloon was came into U.S. airspace. So it first entered into Alaska, so up here, and then it swooped down over Canada into United States. It was once over Montana,
Yep.
and traveled all the way across the United States over east over to South Carolina and was shot down off the coast of South Carolina. Um, and yeah, so that was nuts just to start that off. But that's not where it ended. Then on February 10th, another UFO was shot down off the coast of Alaska. Yeah, just size of, they said it was Defense Department officials said it was not likely, it was likely not a balloon. It was more of a metal type of object. And it looked like the size of a small car. And I heard this on the Pat McAfee show. They were covering it earlier today too when I was watching that. And he said that he heard from somebody that was the size of like a small car, like a Honda or whatever. So that's just weird because okay, maybe like this is just China just doing some stuff, but then you got another one. It's a UFO. Don't know if it's from China.
A handful, I guess.
And then February 11th, another UFO was shot down over Canada. F-22. So an F-22 fired a sidewinder at the first Chinese air balloon, and then February 10th was shot another one. February 11th shot down another one, and then February 12th another one. And so the one on February 12th was the strangest one, I think, just because there was a little bit more information on it. It was shot down over Lake Huron.
Yep.
And so it was first appeared over Montana on Saturday, disappeared in probably the clouds it went off radar, and then reappeared on Sunday before being shot down over Lake Huron off of Michigan. Object was flying at 200,000 feet, had an octagonal shape with strings hanging off, but had no discernible payload. And what a payload is like the information where it stores.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what when we shot down the first Chinese air balloon, we were looking for the payload to see what they all got on that surveillance. So it didn't really. So that last one didn't necessarily have a discernible payload, but. Do you think it could be extraterrestrial, like aliens or anything? There wasn't any.
Possibly, I don't know.
There wasn't any like bodies or persons in those aircrafts. So they were abandoned aircraft, not abandoned, but weren't occupied.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're aliens or they're just another form of a way to spy on.
Yeah, like another air
country.
spy thing, but. But yeah, national security officials on Sunday discounted the possibility that the objects shot down over the weekend might have extraterrestrial origins. So they were saying no, they're not extraterrestrial. However, General Glenn D. Van Herk, the commander of the Air Force's Northern Command, said during a news conference, "I haven't ruled out anything at this point." So who knows? It could be extraterrestrial.
Toss up.
Yeah. Do you think there's aliens? Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I do.
I believe in
in
like some form of alien. I don't know if super extra.
Whenever I think about aliens, I think of what's that? Neighborhood Watch.
Oh yeah.
Whenever somebody mentions aliens, my mind goes straight to
where they blow up that
Watch.
cow with the ball, where they
find
stick
all
the fingers.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen
it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Neighborhood Watch, it's a must watch. Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Jonah Hill, and then some other big name actors. But yeah, those are the three top.
Naming those three.
Yeah,
you know it's gonna be
just a classic movie. So
yeah, do you want to cover what else? You want to cover?
So
February?
I mean, the whole month of February has been pretty crazy. With all this stuff going. Obviously, you got the Super Bowl. You have all this stuff going on politically. But not only is all that stuff happening, it's also February is Black History Month. Celebration of Black History Month and all of the great things and great people that have come in the history of the United States.
Yeah, what they've done and what they're gonna continue doing is awesome. Great.
We'll just name a few. I mean, obviously there are too many to name, but I mean there have been some more that stood out than others. For instance, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. obviously was a huge influence in a lot of people's lives. Malcolm X, also a huge influence. Barack Obama, first African American president. And then, I mean, that's just to name a few of the politicals. But moving on to, you got Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, Kobe Bryant, Serena and Venus Williams, Tiger Woods, like all of those people, and that's just a few that have changed the sports world.
You got Nipsey Hussle. You got Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah, moving on.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Right, moving like influence in so many different areas of our lives: sports, music, politics, entertainment, anything and everything. There has been a Black African American influencer, just that they've changed the way things have been shaped and formed over courses of thousands of years. So Black History Month, celebrate. And then what else we got, Evan?
What do you want to touch on? I want to touch on, let's see here. I know that there's a giant fish caught in on a Lake Oahe.
Oh yeah, yep. I sent you that this morning.
Pull that up here quick.
I looked at that and I was like, "Dang it!"
28-pound, 4-ounce. Let's see. So we got it pulled here. Dan James set a new state record in the unrestricted category with a 28-pound, 4-ounce bigmouth buffalo. Never heard of that fish in my life.
Bigmouth buffalo. Is it like a bass? I guess I have no idea.
It's pretty big.
It looks. It's huge. So I know you guys can't see this. It's on Evan's phone, but it's about.
Shit.
I was 4 feet, 3 feet, 3.5 feet long,
maybe, and then it is wide.
Yeah, I mean it weighs 28.4 or 28 pounds 4 ounces. Yep. So that thing's hefty.
Yep, and that was Game Fish and Park reported that on Saturday.
You said Dan James.
Yep, Dan James. Shout out to Dan James.
And this was at
that big old boy.
This was at Lake Oahe up in Pierre, South Dakota. I'm not sure if Dan is from Pierre or if he was just in the area when he caught this. I'm not sure, but congrats, Dan James, catching a monster fish over the weekend.
Put that on your wall.
Yeah, that's definitely one
side of the wall.
Definitely a trophy fish there. But yeah,
great stuff going on. Big month for February's a huge month. Everything that's gone on, we're only not even halfway through.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, we already are halfway through February. Feels time's been flying for me. I don't know about any of you guys if the 2023 year has been dragging on. I know it hasn't for me. Time's been flying. Just have a lot going on. Finishing, moving on to some maybe a little bit personal. I think we touched on a lot of the topics that we wanted to touch on. Like I said, we got Super Bowl, NBA, All-Star. We got the Phoenix Waste Management Open. We covered that. UFOs, crazy stuff going on in the world, man. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on, and we'll move on to a little bit personal. Reason why I've been so busy and time feels like it's flying by is finishing our basement, which that's where our podcast room is gonna be. But we gotta finish the basement first. So this is kind of a temporary setup as we got going on now, but super pumped to get the podcast room going and actually have like an official room dedicated to this. So we're set up in the middle of my living room right now, and it's just a little bit unorganized, and we could get some more decorations and stuff.
Got some on the way, and
so
kind of excited to get that all put together. And it might feel a little bit more natural.
Right. I think room, So we're excited about that. So we're finishing the basement. In the process of that, still looking. Hopefully the room will be done in a couple weeks. Hopefully, but the whole basement won't be finished for probably a couple months. We still got to do carpet and furniture and vanities and showers and all that stuff. We're on painting right now. Stuff. All the walls are up. We're just painting right now. So super excited to get that done. But what else you got going on in your life?
Not a ton, just work.
Working and grinding.
Getting this podcast going has been fun. Kind of a little break, kind of a little breather.
Something to look forward to in the middle of the week. So
we just and like we mentioned, I believe in our first podcast that we just finished our men's league basketball. So now that's over. Kind of something to fill the hole. And podcast was something great. Talk about sports, love having some conversations, and it's gonna be fun. Set for the ride.
Yep, exactly. And so we're excited to continue on. We'll keep bringing up cool topics. I mean, I know this stuff was a lot at once. We just started the podcast at a time where Super Bowl was happening in the next couple of days, and then we wanted to create another like kind of review podcast to go over some of the key points of the Super Bowl. So there was a lot to cover in the first couple episodes here, but if there's anything that you guys want to hear as far as topics, like if you guys have any recommendations on what we should cover, who we should have on, if there's anything that you guys want to hear or are interested in learning about, let us know, and we can definitely dive into those topics.
We'll always take suggestions, and we'll try to get cover those as best we can.
Yep, exactly. But other than that, I don't really have anything else. I like where this podcast is going. I think with the structure, I typed out a bunch of notes here before the podcast, and I think it led to where our conversation flowed a little bit better. It wasn't just all over and jumping all over.
Kind of like our first podcast was kind of out of the blue. We're like, let's do it. Mm-hmm. I think that one turned out pretty great. But just having some kind of I feel like a template of how to go about the podcast.
I was looking at our analytics today on that video, and I think when I looked last time, it was this morning, and we had 40 views and 6 subscribers on our first ever episode. So we appreciate you guys.
Like and subscribe button, but we appreciate it.
We do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, even if it's for 5, 10, 15 minutes. We don't really care.
We don't really care.
If you like I said, if you guys are interested in hearing anything else or want to have us touch on anything else, let us know.
For sure.
More than happy. I know we do a lot about sports, but if there's anything like the UFO thing, just crazy weird stuff, or that fishing story, just anything you want to hear where it's just random, and we'll try to do a good job of staying up to date and looking up current things, and just keeping all the information together on paper so we can let you guys know what we find out. Super excited to continue the process, and I think I kind of like. Do you like doing the Mondays after we get done working, and then we can release it on like Wednesday, or what kind of?
So our first one, we wanted to kind of get that one out prior
to the Super Bowl.
To the Super Bowl,
because we were obviously predicting and going over it and stuff. So obviously we want to get that before the Super Bowl. But.
So Mondays would be fine. Doing a Monday podcast and then having it come out on Wednesday. You think that Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we'll just cover everything from the prior week.
Yeah.
On that Monday, usually everything is kind of wrapped up
From that
by
following week,
Sunday and for the following week. So we might be a week behind, but we'll be touching on the most important. Then we'll obviously can look forward in the future and see what's coming up as far as big events and stuff like that in the sports world. But yeah, also wanted to touch since we're so into sports on this podcast and we talk a lot of sports. Sports gambling, do quite a bit of that, and I think we might start diving into a little bit more on that aspect too. I know a bunch of my buddies are huge sports gamblers and like to put money down on the games and everything. So we might come out with like, I don't know, we might pick. So so for instance, NBA tonight there's 11 games. Obviously we probably won't go and touch into detail on all 11 games.
One, yeah. But pick a handful. And
yeah, I know there's two televised, so we'll obviously do the two televised ones, just so we're able to watch it too. But then there's other games that aren't televised that are still pretty big games. So we could always touch on a few of the NBA games or whatever season it is, and kind of go through the spreads, money lines, and what our picks would be and stuff like that. So that's always fun. We might touch a little bit on that. And then if I know March Madness, that's kind of the next
that's gonna be huge for
big
us,
thing.
Covering that's gonna be fun, and I love watching those games throughout the day.
Right? Yeah, it's just I think
up to date with them.
Yeah, so like all the time, every time when football season ends, we're like, now that football's over, what are we gonna be watching now? Yeah. So yeah, NBA and college basketball are go-tos. NHL just started. You got a women's college softball that just started. Ashley's pumped about that.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So when football ends, it's not the end of the world. It does feel like forever till the next season. But yeah, you got NBA, and then you got March Madness, which if you guys want to, thinking about creating like a pool.
We might,
where all of you
let
guys
us know if you guys want to. Hop in. We can do a little.
All of you guys can jump in and each fill out a bracket, do like $5-10 a bracket, and
it makes March Madness way more enjoyable when you have your teams picked. You kind of cheer for that team. You kind of follow it more intensely, I think.
Yeah, and it's nice because it starts at 10 a.m. and it goes all day the first couple of days. So definitely get a lot of games in a short amount of time. But yeah, if you guys want to do the tournament challenge or March Madness challenge, we'll probably drop a link down in the description in the next couple episodes because we still got a couple more weeks till that starts. But yeah, let us know if you guys want to do something like that. We'll set it up and everything and get as many people as we can in there. So I mean, we had 40 views. 40 times 10 is 400. Like if each person put in $10.
Not even about the money, man. It's about just having some fun.
Right, but I mean, just saying, if each put 10 in, the payout would be huge. So. Just something to think about, something to keep. We just like doing that shit. We always do it every year with the family, and stuff like that. So why not have a bigger pool and have a bunch more people in it? So, but yeah, so that's kind of what we've been thinking going on the next couple weeks, where we want to start kind of navigating and steering this podcast towards. Kind of having certain topics, like 3 main topics on a podcast.
We can hit a few other topics,
and then have 2 or 3 smaller ones where we can kind of expand the episode to be an hour and a half, somewhere in there. We don't want to, like we said last time, we don't want to take too much of your guys' time.
But everybody can sit down for an hour and
watch the podcast. Right. And it's obviously, it's not the most entertaining, but it is for us. And so we just like doing it. We're definitely going to be trying to make everything a little bit better. So like the first podcast, there was no music. There was really no introduction. It was just us talking. Wasn't really anything entertaining. So we're going to try to put in a few different aspects to where the videos are more enjoyable to watch.
I think that'd be a great thing.
And so
baby steps, and we'll keep progressing.
Yeah, so this is a learning curve, new experience for both of us. We've never done it ever in our lives, so we're just kind of taking it one step at a time, one episode at a time, and we're excited to see where it goes. I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
We could be only get 40 views every time, and we wouldn't care.
No,
we're just we're doing it for us.
We'll keep this thing trucking.
Yeah, we're doing it more for us, and then, yeah, as long as we have topics to talk about, we're gonna be sitting down and
we'll be talking
and chit chatting for sure. But yeah, other than that, what else you got, brother?
I've got nothing else. Nothing else. And I think everything we covered was great.
Yeah, so same time next week, guys. We'll see you back here on TEW Confrontational with Ty and Evan Warkenthien. Peace.